Now, you will find that everything that God placed in day number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was given to man as a gift. In other words, the light and the night were given to us as a gift for us to enjoy. The vegetation was given to us as a gift. The animals were given to us as a gift. In other words, all of creation was prepared by God as a gift for the human race. But when you come to the seventh day, you will find that God creates the seventh day, but doesn't put anything in the seventh day. Do you understand what I'm saying? God creates the first day, and He puts two things in the first day: light and darkness. God creates the second day, and He puts in it the heavens, the waters, and the earth. God creates the third day, and He puts in it all the vegetation. God creates the fourth day, and He puts in it all the stars, the sun, and the moon. So for every day that God creates, He fills that day with something, and that something is a gift for the human race. But when you come to the seventh day, the last day of the week of creation, God creates the seventh day, but He doesn't fill it with anything. Isn't that true? I'll show you again the account of the creation of the seventh day. Notice how it reads. Thus the heavens and the earth and all the host of them were finished. And on the seventh day, that is the seventh day, the last day of the week, God ended His work which He had done, and He rested on the seventh day from all His work which He had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it He rested from all His work which He had done. So God, the seventh day is completely different to all the other 6 days, because the seventh day remains an empty day. There is nothing in it for the human race. Why? Because during the 6 days, the things of the days were meant to be a gift for the human race, but the seventh day, the actual day, is the gift for the human race. I want you to understand that. This is crucial. The seventh day, the actual day, is the gift for the human race. And when we understand this gift, the gift of the seventh day to the human race, you will understand that actually it is the second most important gift ever given to the human race. It is a beautiful gift. How do you know it's a gift, Pastor Sam? Well, come to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 12. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 12, Prophet Ezekiel writes, Moreover, I also gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between them and me. Notice the word gave. What does that speak of the Sabbath as? What is the Sabbath? If God has given us the Sabbath, what is the Sabbath then? It's a gift. God, of the first day, God could say, I gave them the light on the first day. But on the seventh day, God says, I gave them my Sabbaths as a gift, and they will be a sign. And we are going to study a little bit about what this concept of the sign is. But I want you to understand now that the Sabbath is a marvelous gift that God gives the human race. Now, Pastor Braga, you were talking about the seventh day, and now you're talking about the Sabbath. What is the relationship between the two of them? The Sabbath and the seventh day are one and the same. The word Sabbath in Hebrew means to rest. And it originates in that day, the seventh day of the week, when God rested from His work that He had done for 6 days. Why are gifts special? Why do we human beings like gifts so much? You know, at home, I've got a small pocket knife. It's red, and it's not a Swiss pocket knife. is a very cheap pocket knife. I never use it, but I keep it because it was a gift given to me by my dad. And my dad is no longer with me. And so each time I see that gift, who does it remind me of? Of my father. And the knife has no intrinsic value in it, but the value that has is the person who gave me the gift. True? That knife is valuable to me, and I keep it as a memory because my dad gave me that gift. I still remember when I gave him. I gave it to me. I went to see him, and him and my mom, and he took me into his room and said, I'd like you to have this. And he took his knife, this knife out of his clothes cupboard and just gave it to me, and that's it. When he was alive, the knife didn't mean much to me. But now that he's dead and he's no longer with me, the knife means a fair bit to me. And so I keep it in my clothes cupboard, and every time I open it to take a T-shirt or something, I see the knife there. It's important to me. Why? Because my dad gave it to me. And then the gift reminds me of my dad. You know, Anzac Day is a very important day in Australia, isn't it? Yes or no? Anzac Day is extremely important for Australians. Why? Well, it was on the 25th of April 1915 when our Anzacs, the Australians and New Zealanders, some British and some French forces tried to attack the Turkish in probably one of the most disastrous campaigns ever planned. Do you know how many Australians died that day, or in that campaign? 7,250 Australians laid their lives. Why is Anzac Day so important for us in Australia? Why? Because simply it stands for those who gave their lives to keep Australia free. True? And what is the saying that we have in Australia when we remember those who have fallen? What is the saying? Lest we forget. We don't want to forget. Why don't we want to forget? And we have raised memorials all over the place. Today, if you go to Gallipoli, there in that peninsula, there is a memorial to the Australians who have fallen in that war. Though it happened so many years ago, it's still important for us today. Why? Because they did it to defend our country. And we have raised memorials not to forget. Because we don't want the next generation to forget. And we don't want the after generation to forget, because one of the easiest things for human beings is actually to forget. And so, dear friends, the Sabbath is also a memorial. And inscribed in the Sabbath is exactly that same saying that says, lest we forget, because the memorial, the Sabbath, wants to remind us of two things. Of what? Two great events that have taken place on planet Earth. Let me show them to you. We come to the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verses 8 and 11. And here we find the word lest we forget, expressed in another way. Notice what Jesus says. This is the 10 commandments, and it's the fourth commandment, the commandment on the Sabbath. And notice what it reads. I'll read only verses 8 and 11. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. What is that word? Remember. Doesn't it mean exactly the same thing? Lest we forget. Do not forget. Lord, what do you don't want me to forget? I don't want you to forget the Sabbath. Why? Well, the first thing that the Sabbath reminds us of is recorded in verse 11. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. What does the Sabbath remind us of? What? In the gift of the Sabbath, God is saying, do not forget. What does the Lord want us not to forget? What is the Lord wanting us to remember? It says in verse 11, God